Hello, everybody. I'm going to be putting a skip bit if you want to get to the actual content because I'm going to be blathering on for maybe a minute or two. Firstly, I'd like to wish everyone a happy 2016 now that the new year has dawned upon us, even though I'm recording this on New Year's Eve. But anyway, thanks for all the subscribers I now have. I can't believe I have subscribers. I'm so happy. And thanks for all the views. You guys continue to inspire me to create content. Anyway, I decided to create this week's episode and the first episode of the year, inspired by none other than New Year's itself. And I think the pony equivalent of New Year's to be more on a brighter side of things compared to what I did last time, because I kind of debunked the fact that ponies don't celebrate Christmas, which is a bit depressing. This is going to be a bit more positive. So, the basic pretense of it is I believe that the summer solstice is actually New Year's for ponies. It makes sense. It's a celestial event where the sun, its longest day, comes around. Equestria is a planet. Now, I don't know what to call Equestria as a planet, so we're just going to refer to it as Equestria for simplicity purposes. So, that being said, is it possibly New Year's? It is treated similarly to New Year's, but is celebrated at a completely different time. By the ponies, it is a praising of the new sun, and therefore the new year, the summer solstice.
Citizens of Equestria, it is no longer with a heavy heart, but with great joy that I raise the summer sun. For this celebration now represents not the defeat of Nightmare Moon, but the return of my sister, Princess Luna.
And we know that the summer solstice in our own existence is the expanding of a year, which would bring up the fact that the summer solstice celebration is New Year's for ponies. Simple as that. I mean, it doesn't take much to put two and two together to get four there. I mean, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. Anyway, that brings me on to my second point, which I'm going to be talking a bit more in depth about Luna and Celestia. Now, I will have interjected some video clips within this episode because I wanted to make alliterations on me being correct and using canon support as evidence, which makes me feel all happy. Anyway, Luna and Celestia. Now, I've been thinking about this for a while. I've been thinking about this subject for a fortnight now and let it ticking over in my little mind. And I believe that Celestia and Luna don't control the celestial bodies, the sun and the moon. I believe that they do not do this, and that in fact they have no power over such massive planets, but they do have power over their own, over Equestria. You'll see what I mean when I when I explain my reasonings to you. Firstly, I believe that the summer solstice is the longest day of the year. Now, if days and nights are controlled by two individuals, the day and night lengths would not vary very much, would they? They wouldn't, would they? Because if Celestia and Luna are controlling the moon and the sun, then they dictate how long a day and a night is. It's up to them completely, which would eliminate the fact that there wouldn't be a longest day in the year, unless the longest day in the year is for ceremonial purposes, for the purpose of making a year, in which case that completely debunks the entirety of my theory, but we're going to continue on anyway. That being said, if they don't actually have power over the sun and the moon, we can treat Equestria as we do with Earth. That Equestria goes around Earth in an orbiting fashion, which takes a full year. Thus, we have our equestrian year. Well, God knows how long the year actually is in Equestria. That's something for another time. I do need to do that. Anyway, once this year has passed, we have the Summer Sunbelt celebration. Now, the main thing I'm getting at is that I believe that Equestria as a planet doesn't actually spin. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't rotate around the sun. That means that it doesn't spin. So if Luna and Celestia, or Twilight or Cadence in emergency cases like we saw with the ending of Season 4, if they don't turn Equestria, then we would have one gigantic day and one gigantic night as the planet went around the sun. You understand what I'm thinking, right? So I believe that Celestia and Luna actually have powers to spin Equestria, to spin it, so that they have days and nights as they spin around the sun, just like how we do. Essentially, Celestia and Luna are somewhat acting as Equestria's gravity, and they are spinning their planet around the sun to create days and nights, which would explain why there is a summer solstice in the first place, because there is actually an orbital route around the sun. You see what I mean? If you think about my theory, just let it mull over your head, pause the video and think about what I've said. It makes sense when one thinks about this. This doesn't necessarily debunk the power of Luna and Celestia. However, it does explain several things. Now, we have had certain situations where Celestia and Luna were rivaled by another powerful enemy. For example, say the short magical duel during the Changeling invasion, but where Celestia and Queen Chrysalis had that duel, and Queen Chrysalis won. Now, if Celestia really was this godlike pony that can manipulate the gravity of an entire another planet, do you honestly think she would lose a magical duel to a Changeling Queen? Chrysalis may very well be one of many Changeling hives, but she lost. Now, we could say that Chrysalis was draining shining armor of his love and therefore giving her power over Celestia, but it adds up a little bit. It just adds up a little bit. I don't know. It also explains why Luna doesn't even have that much power. For example, if Luna also had such great power over another body, e.g. the moon, it wouldn't have been particularly difficult for her to have kept everybody in that dream state during the dream state episode, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will put a little text box on the video when I do the editing for this. But nevertheless, this theory of mine explains why Celestia and Luna aren't as powerful as everyone thinks they are, and it explains why we have a summer solstice in the first place. However, this is all speculation and theory. I may not be correct. You may disagree with me, and you may have your own speculation and theory. This is merely mine. It's conjecture. I thank you for watching. Have a great 2016, and I will see you next week for more conjecture, theory, and thought. You've been with the Emerald Bolt, and have a pleasant time until then. Ta-da, guys. See you later.